live. Hi, everybody. It's Brianna with Lupus LA, and I'm here with amazing lupus warrior and basically yoga celebrity, Victoria Gibbs. We want to welcome you to this very special live yoga class that we're doing tonight, where Victoria will be guiding us through a session that's specifically geared towards the lupus community. And if you joined us earlier today, we had a really fascinating live expert session with Dr. Sutaria on lupus and movement. And while you should talk to your doctor about, your own parameters with exercise and what's best for you, we did discuss how beneficial movement can be for joint and tendinitis. And pain, just to move out fluid and inflammation. And yoga was one of his main suggestions. So we're super excited to dive in and chat a little bit with Victoria after. So stay tuned. When you're done on your mat, we'll be talking to her about her lupus journey. Want to dive in, Victoria?
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. I have now had lupus. I had to think about it earlier on today for 9 years this June, and it has
Wow,
been one roller coaster ride after the other. I always like to say it's the gift that keeps on giving.
for
Uh,
sure.
but it's definitely become a superpower for me and something that I use to motivate myself every single day. It is something that I share very openly because I do feel that, it needs to be talked about because we're not alone in the struggle. We're all going through something, whether it's chronic illness or something else. I think it's just helpful to be authentic and talk about the ups and the downs because it's just that it's so many ups and it's so many downs. And so eventually, over time, I have used my passion for movement to help manage my symptoms, and I turned that passion into a career.
Yes.
So I'm now teaching yoga full time as well as keeping up with my own practice and continuing with lupus advocacy. I share it with my students, I share it with every community that I connect with, and I just find that there are so many benefits to helping manage my symptoms through my yoga practice and everything that it truly embodies. And so to be able to share my gift with the community on this level is very special.
Mhm.
I am here based in New York City. The parameters are very small in New York, so you just kind of have to make the space work. And so, if anyone is ever in New York, please reach out to me because I would love to connect. I think connection is the greatest gift that we can give each other.
That's gorgeous. Awesome. Well, we're really excited to dive in. If you've got a mat or just a space that you can kind of clear to try out some of the moves with us, I think we're ready to get started.
Perfect. So, let me make my way back to my mat. Just scoot on back. And if you guys have like a pillow or a blanket or something nearby, you can definitely grab it just for a little bit of extra support. But I always love to begin my yoga practice with moments of mindfulness. So, at your own pace, you can find your way to a comfortable seat. For me, that's sitting cross-legged. Maybe you want to sit on a pillow and sit in a chair. Just kind of whatever feels good for your body. I always say it's important to honor your body. So listen to it and give it exactly what it needs. This is not meant to be stressful in any capacity. It's just the opposite. So it's supposed to make you feel good, feel energized, and feel at peace. So after you find your way to a comfortable seat, just gently close down your eyes. You can start to deepen your breathing. Feel the tension melt away from your face. Feel the tension melt away from your jaw. And start to feel the space in between your eyebrows relax. Feel for your shoulders melting away from your ears. And feel for your spine long and back of neck light and long. With every inhale breath, feel your rib cage expanding. And with every exhale, feel your belly reaching back towards your spine. Take this time to really arrive in your body and truly land on your mat. With every exhale breath, continue to release tension and stress from your body. And just embrace this time to connect with yourself and to connect with your breath. Continue to deepen your breathing. Allow yourself to let go of your day. Let go of what's to come this evening or even tomorrow. Just allow yourself to be present and connected for the next 20 minutes. Take 3 more deep inhale breaths. And really try to slow down your exhales. 2 more deep inhale. And exhale. Last one more deep inhale breath. Take 1 more sip at the top. And slow, steady exhale. Good. Gently start to peel your eyes open. And we're going to just begin with a couple of gentle head and neck rolls. So at your own pace, you can just start to bring your chin towards your chest. And just circle your head very slowly, very gently, and with control to the right. We're going to take 3 circles to the right. And as you circle, continue to stay connected to your breath. That mind-body connection happens through the breath. Last one to the right. And very gently, just circle to the left. Stay connected to your breath. Continue to release the tension or stress. Just allow yourself to move with control. It's all about slow, gentle, and controlled movements. At your own pace, you can slowly make your way back to center. And I want you to take your hand, place it on the outside of your ear, and just gently pull on your head. Again, this is all very gentle. Just want to try to get a stretch through the side of the neck, stretch through your trapezius muscle. And just continue to let your shoulders soften. Take 1 more breath here. And slowly release. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I always say it's so important to move the body evenly. So try to send your breath into the side of your body, into the side of your neck, and into your trapezius muscle. Take 1 more breath here. Just try to let the head and neck relax. And slowly come back to center. Good. We're going to take a gentle seated spinal twist. So you can take your left hand, place it over your right knee, and give a gentle pull on your knee. You can use your right hand like a kickstand, and just try to bring the opposite side body forward for a deep twist through the spine. Again, if you can only twist like 1 inch, listen to your body, never force anything. I always tell that to all of my students. So as you pull to twist, feel for a lengthening through your spine and a lengthening through the crown of your head. We'll hold here for 2. And slowly bring it back to center. Do the same thing on the other side. You can use your hand as a kickstand and just give a gentle pull on your knee or a nice twist through your spine. Spinal twists are really great for lengthening through the spine. It'll relieve any pressure, tension, or stress through your lower back. So really try to avoid rounding through the spine, but find more of a lift through your sternum and chest. So as you pull, we're going to hold here for 2. And slowly come back to center. I'm going to take a gentle shoulder stretch. So you can take your right arm, use your left arm, hold it like a purse. It's kind of my favorite analogy. And just give a gentle pull on your shoulder. Again, if it's too much, just loosen the grip. But if you can, try to pull it in towards your chest, while still try to keep your spine long and back of neck light and long. If you're sitting in a chair, just put your back up against the chair to maintain the length of your spine. Try to let your shoulders soften. Try to let your chest soften. And just give it one more gentle pull. At your own pace, you can slowly switch sides. Again, find that purse. And just give it a gentle pull. And if you feel any tension, just lessen the grip. But if you can, give it a nice solid pull in towards your chest. Try to continue to release the tension from your body. The more you can release the tension, the more ease you will feel, and the more benefits you'll get. Just take one more deep inhale here. And slow exhale. Good. If you're sitting in a chair, just really root down through the soles of your feet. However, if you're sitting on your mat, just open up your legs into a small V. I want you to tent up on your left fingertips, and we'll take a gentle side body bend. So just reach your right arm up and overhead. Send your breath into right side body. And do your best to let your head and neck relax. If you're comfortable here, you can bring the soles of your feet together. But if not, just keep them open in the small V. And really try to reach your fingertips out and away. And again, we want to try to avoid a rounding through the spine. Really try to find a lift through your chest. If it's available to you, you can gaze up towards the ceiling. We'll hold here for 2. And slowly bring it back to center. Same thing other side. Tent up on your fingertips and just reach your left arm up and overhead. And again, try to let your head and neck hang heavy. We carry so much tension in our necks. Just allow it to fall off. Send your breath into left side body and continue to reach your fingertips out and away. We're going to hold here for 2. And slowly come back to center. Good. We're going to move into cat-cow. If you're sitting in a chair, you can just grab your knees and follow along to the words that I'm saying. But if it's available to you, you can make your way into your tabletop position. So hands are shoulder width distance apart, knees are hips width distance. Really try to press the tops of your feet down, push your palms down if you're in the chair. Really start to close your rib cage, find a little bit of core activation. And we're going to take a couple of cat-cows here. So deep inhale, drop your belly, head up, chin up, chest up, look up. If you're in the chair, really pull on your knees and stick your sternum out. Exhale, chin to chest, round your spine, pull your low belly in and push the floor away. If you're in the chair, you find a nice hollowing out through your chest. Deep inhale, head up, chin up, chest up, look up. And exhale, chin to chest, round your spine and push the floorway. Good. We're going to take 3 more rounds here. It's really just move mindfully, move gently, and move slowly. Good. And you can take a moment, just check in with yourself. Observe and acknowledge how you're feeling. Observe any vibrations or sensations flowing throughout your body. And whenever we observe, it's always without judgment. We never hold on to any expectations. This is our last one here. Drop your belly, head up, chin up, chest up, look up. And exhale. Chin to chest, round your spine, and push the floor away. Good. Let's gently make our way back to center. You can come to seated. If you're on your mat, if you're in the chair, you're already ready. We're just going to take a couple of gentle wrist stretches. You can interlace your fingers and just move your wrists and fingers from side to side. We always hold a lot of tension in our wrists, a lot of stress here. Do your best. It's a nice one. It's really gentle on the hands. It's a great way to get a little bit of extra mobility and stretch. Good. And if you can circle your hands. This one's a little bit more challenging, but I always find that it's great for my fingers, it's great for my wrists, especially when I'm on my hands all the time as a yoga instructor. This is a nice one. So once you've circled in one direction, try to switch your circle. Don't think about it too much. It might be a little bit awkward, which is totally fine. Just do your best with it. We'll stay here for 3. As you move here, continue to deepen your breathing. You have to stay connected to your breath as best as you can for 2. Last one. Good. And slowly release. We're going to try to deepen our shoulder stretch a little bit. So, if you can, interlace your fingers behind your back, whether you're on the mat or sitting in a chair. If not, maybe you grab for opposite elbows. If that's a bit much, just try to grab for opposite wrists, or if you have a towel or a blanket or something, you can just put that in between your hands. Whatever's available to you today, I just want you to find a lift for your chest. You just want to open up the heart. Try to let the head and neck relax, but if it's too much, just focus on the lift for your chest. If your hands are interlaced, really try to reach your fists down. We're going to take 5 breaths here. And try to feel a softening through your shoulders, softening through your chest. And really try to continue to deepen your breathing. I can't stress it enough. Breath is the gateway to releasing tension, stress, anxiety. Whenever I'm feeling nervous about something, I deepen my breathing and everything starts to feel a lot better. Let's do one more breath here, nice and slow. And slowly bring it back to center. I'm going to try to take a seated forward fold. So if you're in the chair, just really reach out for the soles of your feet. And I want you to try to get your stomach to your thighs and just let your arms hang heavy. If you're sitting on your mat, if your hamstrings are tight, open up your legs, hips width distance apart. And I want you to reach your arms up, find a lift for your chest, and just try to forward fold over your legs. Then place your hands on the floor and just let your head and neck hang heavy. Continue to feel your shoulders melting away from your ears. Send your breath into the back of your heart, back of your lungs, back of your rib cage. But if you're comfortable here, You can find an extension through the legs, and you can forward fold over your legs, placing your palms on the floor. And again, just let everything relax. You can allow the spine to round here if it's comfortable for you. And if you need to, you can always sit on a pillow, sit on a blanket, sit on anything to give your hips a little extra lift, to give you a little bit more mobility. I always like to say props are our friends. Let's take 3 more slow, deep, and controlled breaths. With every exhale, peel another layer of tension away from your body. And if the mind starts to wander at all, you start to bring it back to your breath. We'll take 1 more deep inhale. And slow, steady exhale. Good. Gently roll up through your spine. And we're going to come into a gentle bridge pose. You can place your feet completely flat on the floor. And they are hips width distance apart. You can gently roll down through your spine. If that doesn't feel good to you, you can sit in your chair, just rise up onto the balls of your feet, and give a gentle pull on your chest for a little bit of a back bend through the spine. We just want to try to lengthen and lift through the spine. If you can, find your bridge pose. You're going to root down through the soles of your feet, and you're just going to lift your glutes up. And we're going to let the arms relax. And you really start to activate the legs here a little bit. Engage the glutes if you can. And really try to push your shoulders down into your mat. You can think about some gentle core activation. It's always a nice one. And this pose in particular is really kind of a full body activation. So if you're in the chair, really continue to root down through the soles of your feet or the balls of your feet. You can pull up the backs of your legs and try to lift through your chest for the back bend. We're going to hold here for 3. If it's too much, take a break, reset, and get back into it. And we'll hold for 2. 1 more breath here. And slowly release. Good. We're going to take a gentle spinal twist. We're going to bring our legs into a tabletop position. If you're in the chair, just walk your feet over to one side of the chair and just place your opposite hand over your knee and push against your knee for the twist. If you're laying down on your mat, we're going to spin both legs up and over to the right side of your mat. So you can let your arms hang heavy. You can cactus them. And just try to let gravity take over. If it's too much, you can stack pillows or a blanket underneath your legs to give your body a little bit of extra support and stability. So we're just going to try to take 3 deep inhales. And with every breath, really try to let your body soften into the floor or soften into the chair. This is also a great one to do in bed. I honestly do this every morning when I wake up. Just do a quick spinal stretch to kind of wake myself up. At your own pace, you can slowly bring your legs back to neutral and spin them up and over in the opposite direction. Again, always gently, always mindfully, and always with control. I always say slow and controlled for the win. Just continue to slow down your breathing. Try to let your spine soften and let your body melt into the floor. Do your best to find stillness. Okay, slowly make your way back to center. If you're lying down on your mat, you can extend your legs long into what we call corpse pose or shavasana. If you're sitting in your chair, just close down your eyes. You can place your hands over your thighs and just take a few deep inhale breaths. Really allow your body to rest in stillness. Allow yourself to rest in softness. Continue to feel the space between your eyebrows relax. And maybe feel your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Observe the natural flow of your breath in this moment. Observe the natural rise and fall of your belly. And observe the natural beat of your heart. Continue to slow down your breathing. With every inhale breath, invite calm and peace into your body. And with every exhale, release tension, worry, fear, or anxiety. Just allow the earth to support your body. And take this moment and observe how you're feeling after our practice. Observe the work that you put in. And just check in with yourself, mind, body, and soul. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And really try to feel your breath as it runs from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet. Always envision positive energy, positive vibrations. And really try to use your breath as a tool to heal your body from the inside out. We'll take one more slow and controlled breath. And very gently bring awareness back into your body. You just start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Take any sort of intuitive stretch that feels good to you. And if you're lying down on your mat, you can gently roll over onto the right side of your body into fetal position. And just take a moment to observe and acknowledge. Very gently, you can use your left hand to prop yourself back up. And find your way back into a comfortable seat. Gently bring your hands to heart center. Just take a moment, honor your body, honor your practice, honor your commitment to yourself, and always honor when you show up. Allow yourself grace, patience, kindness, and compassion. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through this practice. Namaste.
That was awesome. That was so beautiful and grounding. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do we have a moment for some questions?
I do, always.
Awesome. I know that some people joining us might have already seen your podcast episode or seen your story in other places, But for those of you who don't know, Victoria's had a really incredible lupus journey with some really kind of big moments in it. And so we might reference some of those as we're answering questions.
Of
Um,
course.
but starting off in sort of the yoga zone, what would you say to patients who might be nervous about movement or are concerned that maybe movement might worsen their symptoms? Obviously, everyone should speak to their doctor, but if someone's a
Yeah.
beginner and they're just looking at getting into, more regular movement, what would you say to them?
I would say definitely try something, but
Mhm.
start very simple. I wouldn't suggest jumping into a power yoga class or anything like that. I would recommend like a restorative yoga class or a yin practice, which is really great because you can use props like blankets, blocks, pillows to really support your practice. So there's minimal stress on the body. I have actually invited quite a few of my lupus warriors to come and take my restorative class that I teach here in New York. And more than anything, it just really cultivates a sense of mindfulness, calm, uh, and just restores the body. It totally rejuvenates it. And I think it's a great place to begin and then see how your body responds and then slowly begin to explore other options for movement.
Nice. When you're having a pain or fatigue day, how do you sort of modify your practice personally when you're going through a little bit of a rough time with the flare?
Yeah, it's definitely a complicated one. I scale everything back. I mean, honestly, I might not even practice that day. You know, if I'm feeling something, I think sometimes the best thing to do is rest. Um, but I know myself, I'm like very keen on movement, not every day, but almost every day. And so, if nothing else, I'll just literally sit in my bed or sit on my couch and just do some gentle stretches. I won't necessarily go to the yoga studio because I know myself, if I go to the studio, I'll want to put in 100%, even though my body is clearly telling me something different. So I'll stay home and do a personal practice that's just really more meditative and grounding and just gentle stretching, which I think over time, you figure out the balance of what is really going to help you heal from any type of sort of joint pain or inflammation or flare up and really lean into that. So I don't push my body during those times. I scale it back, but I do something to make myself feel good because I know even 5 minutes of gentle movement will really make a difference for me mentally as well as physically. And of course, when the weather is nice out, it's nice to just go for a walk. It's like very simple. You don't need to go walk a marathon, but 5 minutes around the block and just getting some fresh air can really make all the difference.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Do you have any like movements or gentle poses that people can do from like a chair or a bed? Do you just suggest sort of like that early stretching that you were doing in the beginning of the class?
Yeah, just like sit in bed, um, just take a couple of head and neck rolls, or even like the supine twist that we did at the end with the legs up and over to the side, just kind of letting gravity take over. You can do that one leg at a time from bed. So you can keep one leg extended, bend the other into 90 degrees or a tabletop position, and just bring it across the body. And if it feels like anything is too much, just grab a pillow, place it right underneath your leg, and it will give you that restorative support that you need. But it will still kind of give you a little sense of movement and just kind of openness that I think will make you feel better, both mentally and physically. So, always like maybe a little wrist stretch, a little supine twist, a couple of neck rolls, maybe a side bend here or there, but it doesn't have to be anything too aggressive at all.
That's perfect. We see you on the go often, coming in and out of yoga studios or events. You do a lot. How do you sort of balance like productivity and ambition and all the interests that you have and all the things you're involved in when you're managing a chronic illness. Is that challenging, or do you feel like you sort of hit your stride with it?
It's definitely challenging. Um, I do have to prioritize rest. There are some days that I go consecutive with not enough sleep, and my body hits a wall, and I
Mm.
require a solid 12 hours of sleep. And, you won't hear from me. I will clear my schedule. If I'm teaching, of course, it's different. I can't just say I'm not coming in. But if there's anything personal on my schedule or like an event or something, I say I can't come. I'm not feeling well. And, I hope people can understand it's not a personal attack. It's just I have to look out for my own best interest. And, with lupus, it's so up and down. I recently saw my doctor and I'm having some sort of hip issue. So I was, I have been very mindful about my movement on one side of my body in particular, not necessarily the other, because that one feels fine. But it turns out from chronic use of certain medications, it has now affected the bone, and I have to look into getting an MRI and an X-ray, and things could change. Like, a lot is very unknown, and so I'm just trying to make sure that I continue to take care of my body as best as I can without overcommitting myself. I do have this insane drive to just keep going and keep pushing through, but sometimes it's just not worth it, and some things are just not in our control. Like, my lupus is very quiet right now. I feel great, but obviously, the labs and things like that say something different, and so now I have to be mindful about what's happening with my hip, and it might change things a little bit for me, which I'm trying to work through mentally as well. So it's very much a balancing act, because while you think everything is fine, under, the interior, there could be something brewing that you totally didn't expect. And you just have to be able to kind of, as they say, roll with the punches and give yourself grace and really take things one day at a time.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel like easier said than done. I'm sorry that that's kind of going on. I was going to ask, how did you unlearn that pressure to always kind of like push through and like really meet that drive that you have? But it sounds like it's just a work in progress and something that, like you just said, you kind of have to take one day at a time.
Yeah, I keep showing up, and I'm not really going to change my routine at this time. I do feel good, and I spent so much time feeling not great for so long that I really want to make the most of this opportunity. And at the very least, I always feel that any challenge that I experience is an opportunity for me to share authentically, like the ups and the downs of this journey. And so, we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It makes me happy, and despite the hip, um, everything feels really great. And I think, you know, these things are going to pop up, and I just have to just take it with a grain of salt and do all the work I need to do, speak to my doctors, and make sure everyone is informed, and we're all working together to figure out the best options so that I can keep living my life the way I want to.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Given like looking back at earlier in your lupus journey, you obviously had your major surgery when you were having that flare. And if someone was going through like a major medical moment like that, I know in the last session we talked a lot about your kind of recovery and journey back to movement when you recovered from that process. If someone was in a major kind of medical moment and coming out of it and healing right now and looking to sort of begin again with movement or trusting their body, do you have any sort of like words of advice from your personal experience about what it was like coming out of that and just like ways to, not be too afraid to sort of get started and reapproach being active?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be very honest. It was very daunting. It felt like I was learning to walk all over again, which was very challenging after, being so physically able bodied for so long. But I knew that the movement, whether it was starting with walking or doing an actual yoga practice, was something that has always been such a pivotal resource for me in terms of navigating my health and managing my symptoms, that there was really nothing that could prevent me from ever getting back to it. So it's really just about taking the baby steps, start small, listen to your body, continue speaking with your doctor as you reintroduce these types of physical activities. But the one thing I would always say is, you have to show up for yourself, and as hard as it may be, I think that letting go of that fear and being able to, step into the unknown and figure out if this is going to work for me right now. Maybe I scale it back. Maybe I try something different. You definitely don't have to expect that it's going to be 0 to 60 in less than a month. It's definitely going to be a very slow process and a very slow journey. And I think the more that you can embrace that and honor it and accept where you are on any given day, because the body is different every single day. What you can do one day, you might not necessarily be able to do tomorrow. So just kind of meet yourself where you are, but don't be afraid to show up and just try. Because if you don't try, you'll never know. And I think it's just important to be able to step into something while, figuring out if it works for you in that moment, and keeping your doctors informed about the journey and the process. And honestly, even just like keeping notes for yourself, like I walked X amount today, didn't feel great, tomorrow I'll do less, and just
Hmm.
be mindful and really being present throughout the process. So I'm always I'm always one for movement, no matter how big or small. Even if it's you start for 30 seconds one day, it's 30 seconds that you committed to yourself to try something and see how it works for you. And so as you take time, it will build slowly, and before you know it, you'll be back to where you were, and actually maybe even feel better than when you did before everything happened. Because that's how I feel now. I actually feel stronger and better than before my big operation. So
That is so encouraging to hear. I'm sure that touches many people, because you've been through it, you've been through so much. And so to be able to kind of build back to, where you are now and have new skills for kind of coping with everything and sharing that with others. And speaking of sharing that with others, for those of you that don't know, Victoria is like a huge lupus advocate in addition to all the other things that she does. And she shares her story very freely. And she's on our patient advocacy panel. So I don't know exactly what like put that drive and that intention in you to share your story when you first started becoming comfortable with it. But since you started sharing more about your journey, has that been rewarding for you? Like, have you kind of had people come up to you and talk to you a lot about what that means to them?
it's been very rewarding, and it's one of the reasons why I keep sharing. And I look at these challenges as an opportunity for me to share, because I get so much feedback from people who reach out to me saying, I saw, this blog post or that podcast, and your story inspired me and, gave me new life and an incentive to keep pushing and keep trying and keep going. And, hearing those things makes me realize that, I'm not doing all of this in vain. Like, it's actually helping people, and it gives me the most amount of joy. So, if anyone ever wants to connect with me on a personal level, I'm always an open book. I love hearing from people. I love sharing my experiences and giving, my opinions. Of course, I always say, make sure you talk to your
Sure.
doctor or not, but I love to just let them know that this is what I experienced, and maybe you will too, and maybe you won't. But, I try to give honest feedback and tips and resources that have worked for me, in hopes that it will work for others. And so the fact that I keep sharing and I keep getting this positive feedback, and it always leads to other new experiences and opportunities and communities to connect with. And on it, I feel like this is why I'm here on this earth, to like keep doing and keep sharing. So
Oh, we love to hear that. We always get great feedback too when we do classes with you, and especially when we shared your podcast episode. It's wonderful that you're comfortable doing that, and we're so grateful for your time tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you for having me. I'm always here. So don't ever hesitate.
We won't. I'm going to just let everyone know before we sign off that we'll add Victoria's social handles and website in the comments and in the caption so that you can connect with her and follow her journey as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.